We call those studies liberal, which are worthy of a free man. That education which calls forth, trains, and develops those highest gifts of body and of mind, which ennoble mankind, and which are rightly judged to rank next in dignity to virtue only. The Montfort Academy is an award-winning classical high school for boys and girls. Our curriculum offers the best that man has thought, said, or done in the world. It is a place where the Harvard classics are standard texts, and the night sky is a scientific laboratory.
Well, I started the Montfort Academy out of a real love of education and an understanding of the importance of education in the formation of the minds, the bodies, and souls of our future generations, our young men and women today, who are going to be the leaders of tomorrow. I started it because I wanted to return to the basics of education. I saw many schools moving away from Latin, Greek, astronomy, rhetoric, debate, and in a sense, moving away from that classical tradition which helped so much in building character and in helping to form character.
We are an independent Catholic high school in the Archdiocese of New York, faithful to the magisterium of the Church.
Montfort Academy offers an education that fosters reflective thought, something that we don't always see in education today.
We guide each student to seek wisdom, practice virtue, and keep the faith.
A special thing I found at the Montfort Academy was the classical education and the emphasis on Western civilization. I've been introduced to lots of subjects from the range of astronomy to philosophy, which are good additions to my education. This has helped me in my knowledge of humanity because I can now give back to the world through my creativity.
Whether in the classroom in Katona or on an archaeological excavation in Tuscany, our students are taught the fundamentals of Western civilization. They leave our hallways wise, thoughtful, and confident, as well as humble and selfless, extraordinarily well prepared for college, and ready to improve the world through their creativity and hard work. Our curriculum includes civics, astronomy, ethics, economics, debate, math, science, literature, history, philosophy, theology, Latin, Greek, Italian, the arts, archaeology, computers, and chess. Courses that have all but disappeared in today's classroom. Our education is liberal and broad, tried and true.
Often, so many people think that a classical education really narrows the mind to one particular train of thought, but my experience here at Montfort has been quite different. I've really been liberated from this mental trap that ensnares so many in our culture, and I've really learned how to pick through the virtues and vices of different philosophies and ideas, and find what is true, good, and beautiful, and defend it.
What happens in our classrooms is magical, the birth of lifelong learning. Our strength is our teachers, dynamic professionals who possess profound knowledge and crucial life experience. Our faculty includes college professors, published authors, an international journalist, an Air Force officer, and a Grammy Award-winning musician, as well as teachers with decades of academic experience in both public and private schools. But the heart of Montfort's magic is the Socratic method, in which the teacher engages the student in a spirited conversation, guiding them through carefully posed questions to perceive the logic of an argument or the reasoning behind a conclusion.
Oscar Wilde said, "A man who cannot think for himself cannot think at all." And this sticks with the Socratic method because in the Socratic method, you're not taught what to think, but more guided along a path where you can learn to think for yourself.
Our classrooms are a sanctuary of learning where all students can freely participate and contribute. Our clubs are as diverse as our students.
Our robotics team built and programmed this robot for the first annual robotics competition in the Javits Center in Manhattan. It's a great extracurricular program because it allows people like me who know nothing about computers, robotics, pneumatics, and things of that sort, and it allows us to learn about them and then apply it to something creative.
Our crown jewel is an archaeological expedition to Italy. This award-winning program allows our students to exercise their creative spirits as they journey through 3,000 years of Western civilization, conversing with history's greatest thinkers and touching their creations with their hands, their hearts, and their minds. It is striking that the very hands that reach into the past are the same hands that will build our future. Montfort students also have access to internships that only our prestigious Board of Advisors can provide. Entree to, for example, the renowned Newington Cropsey Foundation. Our athletic programs include varsity soccer, basketball, baseball, lacrosse, and swimming. Sports are not just about a strong body, but about a disciplined mind and a virtuous soul.
Being a part of Montfort Athletics has taught me about teamwork, commitment, and dedication. But more importantly than this, it has taught me about sportsmanship and competitiveness, which are both skills that will help me in the real world to build something out of nothing through perseverance and hard work.
But our first objective is the sanctification of the student, to be with God forever in heaven. We care about our students beyond the mere assigning of grades. We care about who they are and who they will be.
Something I'm grateful to have at Montfort is the opportunity to go to Mass every day. This is good for students who practice their faith regularly because then they can grow more spiritually. And it's also good for those who don't practice their faith as much because they can learn more about it and they can grow in holiness as well. Also, I'm happy to have the ability to go to confession once a week with our school chaplain.
As Montfort students grow in virtue, character, and nobility, they leave prepared to defend, promote, and celebrate all that is true, good, and beautiful. Our second objective is the transformation of our world in the charitable ways our students touch their families, peers, neighbors, and country. They learn to recognize their blessings, to accept their responsibility as bearers of Christ's love in a world that needs their help and example. Our students have fed the homeless during midnight runs in New York City, collected money for building a new home for a mother and child in Sri Lanka, sent care packages to U.S. soldiers overseas, sent badly needed supplies to a struggling school in Afghanistan, and traveled to flood-ravaged areas of Mississippi.
It was a wonderful, eye-opening experience. I learned about how other people live and how badly some things can happen in the world and how terrible some accidents can be. And I really learned that being gracious and patient is a really good virtue to have.
Our students know that to whom much is given, much is expected. And our goal is to offer our students the highest ideals of sportsmanship, moral development, and citizenship, but also to develop their creative spirits and celebrate free enterprise. The graduates can then enter the world and claim his or her share of the better tomorrow they are helping to create. Finally, at the Montfort Academy, we are athletes. We are scholars. We are rhetoricians. We are servants. And we are disciples.
At Montfort, students receive a well-rounded education. The curriculum program is designed not only to impart knowledge, but to form young people to practice virtue and to live their faith. When Pope Benedict XVI visited the United States, he told young people to thank God for all those who strive to ensure that they can grow up in an environment that nurtures what is beautiful, good, and true. And I believe that the Montfort Academy is one of those unique places that does just that.
Remember, the Montfort Academy was the first high school in the Archdiocese of New York to open in 40 years, and it wasn't easy. It took a lot of work of parents, teachers, board members, and others who really came. And right now, actually, we're going to be facing a problem of outgrowing our building, but that's a good problem to have. We're very happy with the progress that the school has made.
The Montfort Academy returns to the fundamentals of education, what worked well for centuries. Values matter, academic excellence matters, Western civilization matters. The Montfort Academy is the only high school that I know of that requires 4 years of Italian language and culture. Why? The United Nations concluded that 62% of the world's cultural patrimony comes from Italy. The Montfort Academy is becoming one of the finest high schools in America. It absolutely deserves our support.